Hi, my name is Kamya, and today I'm going to be talking about the ways that the devil can show up in your life. So I'd like to reiterate that I don't fully believe in evil as a entity, but I do believe it as a spirit. So just to clarify, like, multiple spirits can cohabitate in a body side by side. So just because there is a evil spirit does not mean that there can also be a good spirit within the same body. So I just like to clarify that. Okay, so we're gonna go more in depth into this, into how evil or devil energy can show up in your life. So I want to take this from the perspective of a modern day individual, like a Gen Z millennial approach. Can reside, and it's not as intimidating as it may seem to be in the beginning. So something may seem to be put into place as a rule for the benefit of people, but then that moment comes when the rule is challenged, and that's when, if the rule is not moving according to progress, and it's moving according to understanding someone from a innovative and broad mindset, then that's when the rule or paradigm becomes restricted and therefore complex and devil energy. Because before, we weren't able to box in what the issue was within the paradigms or the rules that we had already created. And now, since there are always new energy fields being structured, but because there's always new energy fields and vortexes being created and structured and challenged for things to be manifested through a collective consciousness, things have to break down. And this is the place where, like, if there's usually a resistance to things breaking down, that's when you know that there is the devil is residing in these areas. And it's always good to know that, because the thing is, you defeat the devil, so to speak, through your mindset, through a neutral perspective, and understanding how to move forward in a world that can sometimes be toxic, can sometimes be not up to scale or up to par with what we believe is forward moving and modern, for example. So this is like, that's what this video is for. I mean, I'm just making it because, like, I think so I want to share this information, and I don't know really what context it would fit into, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of information that I have that, like, if it fits for you, it fits, and if it doesn't, it's just like a random video on YouTube. Like, you don't really need to worry about it, So the thing is, like, with devil energy, so I don't know if everyone or anyone here has experienced a miracle in their lifetime. And miracles can happen in various different ways, right? Like, anything could be considered a miracle. It could be, every living moment, in fact, could be considered a miracle. But what I wanted to talk about in specific was so miracles with God, with light energy, they usually have no strings attached, and you can usually get a miracle from light energy or God through the easiest possible method, which is just asking for it, you know, and you don't really have to give anything, you don't get anything. It's like it just works out for the benefit of everyone in that situation, and it may not be to the best of your liking, but it's like a situation where it restores your faith in the universe, in God. And this is why it's called a miracle, is because you see something that is so profound for you, and it reinstills your faith in God. So a deal with the devil, so to speak, is a karmic contract with it's quick usually, and it's usually made in the spur of the moment. And I wanted to talk about here, well, I'll talk about this after, but so a deal with the devil essentially is there's a payout. It's like credit, right? So you're on credit with the devil, and you have to pay it back in some form, some way, shape, or form. So the way that this deal would usually show up is that you would usually gain a limited time, so it's always time based, until the deal, the contract is over, so until the situation has been fulfilled. But okay, so you will gain you will gain a specific amount of time to control the natural forces around you. So you may not know that you are controlling it, but you will be controlling it. So that's the thing to be mindful about. But like, so let's say you have, I don't know, something to get done, and you will have a certain amount of resources. You will have this certain amount of time, and this is where you will be your own magician. You will create those resources, and in effect the universe will let you do this because it is important to move forward in a way that is beneficial to you, and that in one of those ways is being able to connect with your darker energy, which is this devil energy. But you will be able to move forward, but the end result, so a deal with the devil, the end result, you will never get what you want. You will never get what you want. You will almost taste it. That's what the deal with the devil says. Like, you know, it will promise you, and you will be promised consistently. And then when the moment comes down to it to fulfill that promise, it will not be fulfilled because it's strings attached. So you're kind of doing the work of the lore, of the dark lore. So basically, this is understood through the fact that if you're living in the present moment, you're able to recognize that the deal is actually happening presently. It happens in the actions that you take, and those are the lessons that needed to be learned. So technically they benefit the darker forces because you are creating dust. So when you create, like when you stamp on the ground and there's dust flying everywhere, then you know, certain particles can be removed as to, like, you know, in an argument when you're arguing with someone and they take out the pieces that just to misunderstand you. So that's what I mean, where it's like you will be put in a situation where the dust that you kick up will be the reason that you are misunderstood. Not because you are in the deal with the devil, but because the devil has taken his fair share from that situation. So you wanted to do something, you wanted to embrace something, and he's going to take his fair share from this context. Whereas God, or light energy, gives freely. So there is always a constant stream of bliss and growth within this. So places where deals with the devil show up, for example, is in drugs and alcohol. Like I'm not saying that, you know, it's a bad thing or whatever, like I'm pretty neutral on that, but it's kind of like this position that you're kind of put into where you're constantly subscribing to his contract. So whatever happens during that time, you forget your body, for example, you forget your mind, you will just lose what you put out. Like it'll become like an illusion. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly, but it's like, okay, so then maybe the next points will kind of help cover this. So what I want to say here is that evil cannot rule with dark intentions. They're like, it operates through illusion. So evil in a place of authority does not rule with dark intentions. It rules with neutrality. So it exists in power through ignorance. So technically, like the evil when you see evil in mass media or stuff like that, it's experienced through ignorance, and that ignorance gives way through to darker forces being able to play out in the light grid that is currently being activated um, in the news, in the government, etc. You know, like this kind of stuff. Like everything has a light grid, and it's just being activated. So it's not actually like, it's not actually evil, because if something is evil, it's acting in pure innocence, if that makes sense. So when something is pure evil, it technically can't sin because it doesn't have a soul. So souls cannot be, they are light bodies, right? So they're not made in the essence of evil, so to speak. So technically evil is not a sinner. Evil can never be a sinner. Only a saint can be a sinner. But like it operates in innocence. So there is an innocence, or yeah, because I think usually people associate the word innocence with something like naivety or you know, stuff like that. But pure energies like chaos, pure evil, pure love, it operates through innocence. So it doesn't have a separate entity that is infringing upon it, that says I will do this for self-gain, or I will do this for other people to gain. It just does it because it wants to, and there's no other reason behind that. So that's the paradigm of evil. Let's see. Right. So one way to notice one way to notice devil energy in your life is if your whole world changes like on a dime when you stand up for what's right. For example, because your inner world becomes so intense, the delusion of the external reality being bigger than what you think it is, that's the trick of the devil. So you think that your world is a lot bigger and more important than it actually is, but from the outside looking in, it's small. It feels small and it looks small. And it's not to judge. I'm not judging, you know. It's not really my duty to judge either. It's just kind of, I'm just here to observe things. But that's the deal with the devil, you know. It's a very personal situation. There needs to be some dispelling occurring, and that is because though the concepts exist and they are known, their action has not been put into play yet. And when that action has not been put into play, technically the idea is in manifestation mode. So when you put that action into play, you manifest it into that current reality. So whenever we manifest anything, usually there will be a period of chaos because the old reality needs to break down, the paradigm needs to break down. So this is kind of how you know that there is like devilish forces happening around you. But this is the thing where it's like, I'm hoping to convey through these videos that like, this, what I'm trying to say is that the devil or devilish energies or darker forces, they're not bad per se in small quantities like this. Like there are obviously situations in this world where people have done like consecutively evil things, or they do things for money, for power, control, stuff like that, which are darker forces that take over the soul, but they're not necessarily bad. And not to say that certain events are not bad, like, you know what I'm talking about, like the really shitty stuff, like sex trafficking and stuff like that, which is a complete aspect of demonic energy being at play, because then it kind of goes like the people who take part in that, it doesn't really, they don't have the soul is like munched. It's like it's a different breed, literally. So it comes from a different light grid, like, and the light grid may be quite low vibrational. So yeah, I think that's something to recognize. I'm hoping that like I'm able to kind of express everything that is needed to be expressed in this video, and I hope it makes sense. Like, I know I've kind of jumped all over the place, but I want to just pull a few cards. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you know. If there's any questions, let me know. I don't know, yeah, I really just don't know. I'm just trying to communicate, even though I don't really feel like doing it. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to be. It's like, you know, when you're writing an essay and you don't feel like writing an essay, but you feel like you have to do it because there's a deadline, and I feel like the universe is like a professor or something. So yeah, so I hope this video helped you break down certain illusions and helped you connect better to your intuition. If there's any other topics that you would like me to cover, to like talk about, I'd be very happy to talk about them. I'm gonna make a second video to this, to the pros and cons of having devil energy in your life. I think this topic is like really funny, and I think there's like a lot of juice here, even though people don't want to really cover it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about a part 2, which is like the pros and cons of having devil energy in your life. Excuse me. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much. Catch you in the next video. Bye.